All of the immigration agencies have issued guidance indicating that they now plan to crack down on visa overstays following that crazy guy in Boulder, Colorado who set people on fire at the pro-Israel rally. I'm gonna read from my phone here, but there was a release issued on the USCIS.gov website on June 4th indicating that CBP, ICE, and USCIS, which is interesting because USCIS is the benefits arm of the immigration agencies. They're not usually involved in enforcement action, but all three are ramping up the review of immigration records and will take immediate appropriate actions to crack down on visa overstays stemming from the Biden administration's failure to enforce the law, because it's always Biden's fault. The urgent crackdown comes after authorities arrested 45-year-old Mohammed Sabri Soliman for setting at least 8 Americans on fire in a shocking terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado. Soliman is an Egyptian national who had overstayed his visa in the US and remained in the country unlawfully since 2022. Man, I really hate when there's some sort of domestic terror attack and the perpetrator is an immigrant. That's just, whenever it happens, I'm always saying, please let them be a US citizen, because this is gonna be really bad for immigrants who've done nothing wrong. This is just another way that the Trump administration is gonna use local events, local unrest to ramp up enforcement actions, and I don't blame them. This was a very heinous attack on US citizens, and it's unbelievable that it actually happened. But now the question becomes, if you are an immigrant who overstayed your visa, what should you do to help protect yourself? I think the only answer I could really provide is if you have a lawful pathway to become a permanent resident, I would submit that application immediately, because there is a good chance that enforcement actions against people who've overstayed their visas are going to ramp up. There was other guidance recently given to all of the ICE heads in different cities saying, we want you to dial up the knob to 11 and even begin arresting people collaterally, come up with creative ways to ramp up your numbers. So we're going to begin seeing probably much more enforcement activity by ICE becoming emboldened to interview people, to speak with people who they did not initially seek to target. So the only thing I can say is, if you, for example, if you're dating a US citizen and you guys are considering getting married, but you're not exactly sure on the timeline, perhaps accelerating that timeline might be in your best interest if you would like to remain in the United States. I'm not telling you to get married if you don't want to get married, but if you're gonna, and if you're choosing between this summer and next summer, I would probably try accelerating that timeline a little bit. If you are an immigrant and you personally need to speak to an immigration lawyer, I would love if you spoke with me or my office about your immigration concerns. You could always find my information in the video description below to schedule a consultation. If you want to stay up to date on all the latest Trump administration immigration policy changes, be sure to subscribe. I put out several videos each week, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.